Austin, Texas. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today to my right, James Dean Rader. To the left, Andrew Spey. And to the left, filling in for our Japanese correspondent, Tyler Meisinger. His name is John Kozak, but we call him the father around here.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
I don't think Tyler's ever coming back.
And it's funny you said that, as this was, I didn't tell anyone this. I DM'd him yesterday, just, a check-in. I said, how's it going? He goes, S-word is so lit, not coming back. And I said, LMAO.
Well, you know why he's not coming back and why he fled the country.
Why did he flee?
I think he's involved in the Connor Stallions mix-up.
The what?
The Connor Stallions, Michigan.
Oh, I did know this. Sherrod Moore, the Michigan coach, once again, they're in hot water. He flees the scene before we can confront him about his potential involvement.
That's right. Do you see in their suspension? It's the funniest thing ever. So he gets suspended 2 games, right? Self-imposed 2-game suspension, even though, they didn't know what Connor Stallions was doing, obviously, but they're still self-imposing sanctions.
Yeah.
But they're not doing the first 2 games of the season because they play Oklahoma week 2. So then they're going Central Michigan and Nebraska week 3 and 4.
You're kidding.
Which is just such a slap in the face to Nebraska.
He's suspending. You can't. Oh my gosh. Michigan. That's no good.
Well, they're saying it's because he went to Oklahoma.
I don't even know what Connor Stallions is.
So Connor Stallions is the guy that stole signs.
I thought that was a team. I thought they were like
Connor Stallions.
Connor Stallions.
No. He's the guy that stole signs under Harbaugh.
Okay.
He's the one that proved
teams.
that their national championship team was fraudulent and they shouldn't have to give back.
He had like a whole manifesto and everything too.
Yes.
Dang.
And now also coaches at a high school, their 2 best players just recently flipped their commitments from other places to Michigan.
Okay.
So now he's just funneling top talent in the state of Michigan.
That's a guy committed to the team.
All right.
I think it's all great. And Michigan's president is leaving for Florida.
Oh, wow.
So
everyone's fleeing.
It's just falling apart.
That's what Michigan people do. They go to Florida for a few months out of the year, and then they go back up north.
That's true.
This guy's not coming back.
Do we have that video of Tyler and Stevan?
Oh, I got it chambered.
Look at,
Here, hold on. Let me.
Stevan kind of dunking on Tyler.
Yeah.
And so Stevan is also in Japan. And the caption or the copy on the video is POV. You see that one friend who's low-key improving their style. That's
the acting from Tyler, too.
Yeah, it's his acting debut. He has to act like he's cool, which is hard. It's a stretch.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. Look at, what are they,
Did Tyler get those glasses in Japan?
I don't know, but he got that jacket in
Albania.
Well,
that's a low-key improving then. He needs to go to...
I don't know. I don't know if I understand style these days. Obviously, I don't. But it's just they just all wear... The style right now is wearing giant clothes.
Some are saying I started the trend.
Honestly, you're the first person I saw wearing clothes that were way too big. And then I saw Tyler start to do it.
Trust me. I'm always one step ahead of the game.
Tyler has... Now, when those clogs come back, then we'll know.
That's right.
Okay, it's what is it? May. Sometimes there's more tangents than others. We don't have the structure of the season keeping us in the guardrails. JD, where do you want to start?
Let's start with these NCAA rule proposals.
Okay,
that have been out and about now for about a week. There's a lot being proposed. What is being proposed, and when exactly does this vote come to a heed with coaches?
A heed?
A heed? I don't know.
I don't know.
Ahead?
Yeah. So I have a copy of the proposals and the rationale. I don't know if I'm actually supposed to have this.
Am I allowed to put those up?
Yeah, put it up. I don't know if I'm allowed.
Rationale?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Also, Ever, can you tell me when I'm clear on the screen, just so that I don't show? Yeah, I appreciate that. Sorry. A little behind the scenes work here.
Yeah.
We're just peeling back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
It's fun for everyone.
Okay, but also I don't have them memorized, so if I can't see them, I'm not
Okay.
gonna know them.
I'm going to try to find them.
Okay.
This is in my computer. This is space.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
Yeah, you're still signed into all my...
Well, I really thought we were kind of more ready for this.
We're ready. We'll get there.
But anyways, on a high level, the rules changed for this year. They feel very on the fringes of actually impacting wrestling. Like most of the stuff is stuff that doesn't actually. There are a few things like a couple rule changes that impact actual wrestling, but a lot of it's procedural and sort of not like. There's nothing in there like, a step out, or, obviously we had the drastic one of the 3-point takedown. There's nothing really like that at all, not even proposed. So regardless, I say at the beginning, if these changes happen, it's not going to be super significant stuff, big earth-shattering. But now that we have the rules up.
We got there.
Kozik, I don't want to turn and read if you can, because I can't really turn to the right very well today. It's
doing the robot
you can put these up on the screen.
Yeah.
So up first, one that's been discussed for a while: eliminate ear protection as required equipment. So goodbye headgear.
Okay.
Not goodbye headgear. Headgear optional.
Headgear
Goodbye
optional.
for some.
If you want it,
Yes.
don't want to. I'm fine with it being optional. I don't know the science of how much they do or don't. I feel like if you wear headgear, it says in there's a study that says it doesn't help.
It definitely helps.
It definitely helps you not get cauliflower ear.
Correct.
It's like
it's not 100%. Like,
of course.
but I mean, Tyler is Exhibit A, somebody who wrestled through high school and college and doesn't have cauliflower. He's like, yeah, because I wore my headgear.
Yeah. I mean,
No auricular hematomas for him.
if you don't want cauliflower ear, you should wear headgear.
Right.
If you don't care, okay. But now, is cauliflower ear the end of the world? Of course not. Of course not. But yeah. I mean, I'm fine with this, I guess. But
I don't care that much about this.
I feel like
I think it should be optional. Yes, but in terms of like stuff, I'm willing. Like, I would rather have other rule changes before this.
yeah, this is one of the rules. It's like, okay, I guess we need to talk about this. But
I like it because it's if you're worried about cauliflower ear on wrestlers or whatever, it should be mandatory in practice. Like the actual matches are a far smaller percentage of the amount of time that you could be potentially giving yourself auricular hematomas.
Is it pronounced cauliflower or cauliflower?
cauliflower.
Am I saying
Space says cauliflower.
cauliflower?
It's not a. He's like the Lassie dog, collie.
Cauliflower.
All right, let's go to the next one.
So they do reference that they don't wear it at the World Championships or Olympics. So why should they wear them?
Now, what I want to know is, can an opponent make their opponent take it off by choice, like they can in freestyle?
If it's optional, no.
Okay.
Then they can't do that.
So next one, they're proposing to make headgear optional, but mouth guards required.
The rationale in here is to protect an athlete's dental situation, but I always thought mouth guards were for concussions.
I'd never heard that until you said that last week.
Really?
I've never heard that.
That they were for concussions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've always heard that.
I just didn't know that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if it's for head safety, then good.
You do have to wear it in
the
college
rationale
football.
was for teeth.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, for football, you have your face mask to protect you from getting.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, their
smashed.
teeth.
So
aren't used.
a lot of it is just your jaw and
You don't have to wear a helmet though in college football.
optional.
They actually, college football players nowadays hate wearing their mouthpiece. If you ever notice, they're always, if they have the ones that attach to the face mask, they're always dangling, or a lot of them keep it just up in their helmet.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Which I can't imagine playing college football without a mouth guard, especially the nice ones they have where you don't even feel it.
I can't imagine playing college football. To be honest.
What, did you guys wear mouth guards when you wrestled?
Yeah.
You did?
In college, not in high. I don't think I did in high school. I guess I had braces for 1 year, so I did. Then
You need them if you have braces. That is the worst.
I didn't.
well, it's actually required by rule.
Oh, so you don't just tear up someone's arm with your.
Caleb wore it for a little bit and just hated it and hasn't worn
In
it.
college, so you get the nice ones where they take a mold of your mouth.
Oh yeah.
And so you hardly even notice.
We did something like, they're not probably as nice as that, but it did like mold. He still hated it.
You did the boil method?
I forget how we did. It was literally when he first started, so it was like 5-6 years ago. He also hates wearing headgear, but I think it's because he hasn't. Because he doesn't wear it in practice.
Wait till that first drainage incident.
Yeah.
No, wearing headgear was never that huge of a deal to me.
I hated adjusting them. Like to me, that was the biggest pain. The straps and everything.
But if you get the Cliff Keen ones that are like this, like one adjustment, and they're
Easy
like
to adjust.
freaking.
And if you have it right,
They're right.
it really doesn't.
Exactly.
affect you that much. Like when you're wrestling, like you're kind of being a baby if you're like,
Yeah, they're kind of hard to initially get, but once you get it right, they're good.
and then it's not coming down in your eyes and stuff. If you adjust it right.
The twister tornado ones, those are the ones that get all messed up.
Tornadoes. I wore the tornadoes.
You did.
I liked them. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were like cutting up your opponents and stuff.
Yeah.
Being a nuisance.
Nice weapon.
Yeah. When I first started in high school, I wore the other kind, the traditional Cliff Keens. And I had really long hair at the time. And
What?
Yeah, it didn't stay
I
on.
can't even imagine you with really long hair.
Yeah.
How really long?
Not like super long. It was like here, down here. Yeah, like the mop.
Well, back in
mop.
the day, you couldn't have really long hair unless you went full like skull cap.
Yeah. Well, I braided it. No, I'm joking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You want to keep going through the rules?
Yeah.
How deep you want to get in these?
Not less deep than we're getting right now. I want to just read it and opine and move on.
Eliminate the requirement that the referee says set.
Yeah. Good.
I didn't even know they had to do that.
Yeah, they have to say set, boop.
Okay.
Well, it says set. I don't think it says set between each position, which I don't think they do. Don't they say top man cover, bottom man set, top man cover, set, go?
Yeah. So now they just don't say set. Once
It says from all
it says
three.
all three positions. So
they just wanted to get
bottom
in
man
position.
set, top man cover, set.
He's just giving
From neutral, that'd be super confusing.
set.
Set. And then
You might get one noise now.
It's not going to affect neutral. Anyway, this is fine.
keep going.
Move on.
All right. Allow third-party review official to consult with on-the-mat official to obtain pertinent information.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like this.
Yeah,
But it does say they can't talk about
I'm sure they won't editorialize.
editorialize,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just in case, like, oh, here.
I don't know, because
The whole point of the third party should just be like,
you shouldn't even know.
you shouldn't know, anything going on.
What do you need? What information?
What context can you gain by not watching the match?
Yeah. Anyway,
I
It just says time and score.
For example.
but you should always know the time and score.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you should have to consult the ref to know the time and score.
Maybe that's part of it. Maybe like when they are reviewing,
They don't know.
they don't know like who's neutral or who's on top or whatever.
If the
like,
score
which
is
would be
not being
weird.
updated fast enough, I could see if it's a long sequence and they're like, wait, what was the score supposed to be when this sequence happened? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just suggesting.
Okay. All right, next one. If the video review system is inoperable during a match, it shall not be used for the remainder of that match.
Yeah, I could see that making sense. Like, oh wow, it wasn't working for our match. Just wrestling coaches are the most paranoid people you're going to come across. They're going to always think like, oh yeah, of course it didn't work here.
Right.
Put in. So okay, that's fine.
Sounds like there was a very specific example that put that rule change on that.
Okay. So then this one is allow a coach to retain video challenge if there's an obstruction of view, so you can't like make the call.
I don't know
This was
why.
already the case.
No, it wasn't. You lose your challenge even if it's.
I think UWW. I think it is like that.
say maybe I'm thinking of freestyle matches, but I feel like I've definitely seen a ref be like, we couldn't tell, so
Here's your brick.
yeah, so you don't lose it, but you don't win it.
No, you can lose it. It's crazy.
Maybe it's just like first round matches at Vegas. They're like, hey, here you go.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Rear standing position, stop riding time if the wrestler's going to be called for stalling.
I don't like this. I don't even know what this means.
So like if he's trying to bring him down to the mat.
It's just I just see
Stalling.
more challenging, more. It's just adding more complication and nuance.
Yeah.
That's just annoying.
Coaches are very particular about riding time and making it to where it's like, oh no, there's one more second, or you kept running it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's just going to make it more.
Should we just get rid of writing time?
Yes. I was thinking that the entire time this thing. It's like, yeah, I know exactly what situations they're talking about, and it does make sense that you shouldn't accumulate riding time while you're stalling and then get called for stalling. But who cares about these seconds and everything that you go back and forth? This is a big waste of time. It takes away from wrestling.
They do stop writing time, like the ankle drop down,
And that's
the
their
guy tried to escape.
Dude, it's just like it's so much for the scorekeeper, and I don't.
It's not good wrestling. Being able to ride a guy is not the whole point of having a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next one. Clarify, tossing, throwing, sliding, or spiking any piece of equipment shall be called unsportsmanlike conduct.
And you can't even spike your mouthpiece anymore.
Yeah.
You can't slide your headgear to your coaches in a very
Yeah, they're just
respectful
like-
manner. You
Well,
can't.
I get what they're trying to do because you had I forget which, it was the Missouri-West Virginia duel where
It was Jordan Titus and Josh Edmond.
Titus did something. It was like, it was not a spike. It wasn't even bad. And so
He threw his headgear to the coach's corner.
Yeah.
And they called him unsportsmanlike. And then as Josh Edmond was coming back, I think he threw his to the Missouri coaches and he didn't get called.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So they're interpreting stuff that they're basically saying, yes, we are mind readers and we know what Jordan and these wrestlers mean. So they're saying now you can't do anything.
Now they want to penalize
Black
both
and
of them?
Yeah.
Now it's turned into the NFL, the no fun league.
Well, why did they? Yeah, I thought that if anything, they would just get rid of the taking team points. But
When I first read this, I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna get rid of this as
the
an
most obvious
unsportsmanlike
thing ever.
conduct.
But
it's
no, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
we still love.
Well, I don't think it's the most obvious thing ever because there's no other way to penalize a team or a wrestler if unsportsmanlike conduct occurs after the match is over.
yeah.
Which you have said, like, there should be a penalty if you are unsportsmanlike.
It's a card system. Just eject them.
Fire them out.
But you can't eject them after, like, they already did their part. They already
Yeah, you get a
they
card.
can't compete anymore.
All right, Jordan Titus, you get a card, and
Next
if you get
match.
another card, you have to sit a match. I just fixed it.
But it can't be the next one or the next one, but 3 and 4. You know, you get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
You have to wait till you.
Well, next one's conferences, so
I mean, you could just say, hey, we were going to send them to this open tournament. Now we're not.
yeah, there you go.
There you go. All right, keep rolling. Speaking of flagrant misconducts, so if a wrestler receives a flagrant misconduct, wrestles illegally, they have to. Their term of suspension is doubled, and then also the head coach is suspended.
Sure.
Who did? I want to know who did this.
Yeah.
Well, it says in response to the directive from the Playing Rules Oversight. It feels like a third party or some other sport where this is like a big deal. Now everyone has to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, it works for me.
Sure.
Remember when Jameis Winston was going
just
to go
showed
out
up.
and compete? And Jimbo had to be like, dude, you're suspended.
You're serious about that?
Remember when Bobby Valentine got ejected and then put on fake glasses and a mustache and went back into the dugout in the same game?
Tremendous.
I don't.
Oh, that was his best move.
Okay. This next one is just saying you can review flagrant misconducts within 48 hours.
Sure.
That's cool.
Statute of limitations on flagrant misconduct.
This is a fun one. Eliminate single leg cutback from illegal holds.
I think Space should show this on JD.
Well, I was a little confused here because they confused me with the offensive and defensive. Obviously, there's multiple cutbacks, and they specify the broomstick situation. So not the where you jump and you split to mat return, not where you go like double feet on the back of the heels or the knees, but when you thread your leg in between your opponents.
I thought this was like we're neutral. You shoot a single leg on me. I like whizzer and then like
Cut back.
jump cut back. I thought
from
that's what. Isn't that what they're talking about?
When I hear broomstick, I always think the thread, like in between your opponent's legs.
I think of like
saying
the
makes
Aaron
contact.
Pico Junior Worlds thing.
This is saying makes contact with the back of the defensive wrestler's leg or legs in the broomstick
I
position.
feel like Ben always said that this is not a dangerous thing and they should allow it. So I'll just agree with him.
No, I read that as the mat return style too, but now I don't know. So they need to clarify the rule change.
Yeah, it just needs to be a little more specific. I mean, I don't know why you can't do both. I feel like we always could. I didn't see anybody's knee get blown out. But I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
I know in freestyle you definitely can do it from as like a counter to somebody's getting a single leg on you, and you can't in folk style, and that causes so many problems when it happens at like the U.S. Open or something or at like U20s.
Yeah. All right, next one. Eliminate interlocking fingers in neutral position infraction.
Sure.
Love it.
Just slap.
You can't tell
Just
who's
hit their hands.
you can't tell who's locking.
No.
All right, I think this is the last one. Expand the use of the 1 pound allowance for all dual meets held within a 48-hour window. So currently it's 24.
Yeah.
So now it's
So your Friday, Sunday duels, you would get a pound.
You get a pound.
This is a Seton Hall Pirate.
I like
Britt Malinsky thing. He will be all over that.
Yeah.
That is, he'll know exactly when it applies to everybody.
Just dual meets? It specifies dual meets?
all dual meets.
Compete.
I'm sure they'll mean if
It
there's
doesn't
a
say
tournament
dual
and
meets.
then
Yeah, right here.
Dual meets.
For all dual meets.
I was reading the rationale.
I don't know. Make your weight, bro. Be a professional.
I don't care. 1 pound, 24, 48 hours. I think it makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
See what I mean? Not a big. Yeah, they weren't trying to change much this year.
Cowards didn't put step out on it.
No.
No step out.
3-point reversal we could have saw.
That's what I was waiting for. How do they not add that back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we know when these will get
Soon.
voted on?
Yeah, because the person that sent them to me is like, I hope you can talk about these before the vote. Like, we're going to change the vote. They don't listen
We're
to
going
us.
to rock the vote.
We're going to rock it. All right, next
Why don't you
topic.
walk to the booth and vote on that thing? All right, next topic. People might be mad. I made Vito Arujau the #1 pound-for-pound freestyle wrestler in America in my domestic men's freestyle rankings.
Well, no surprise. You are a Spencer Lee hater.
that is absolutely not true.
I think Spencer should be the #1, personally. I think just the status of making an Olympic team is not being considered here, and I think it should be.
Was considered.
Not enough. Oh, I think we need to
I like
edit those.
I like the style.
I know. I put it in this. I know. I put it in the Slack. For some reason, on the pound-for-pound, it didn't work, but on the weights, it did.
Oh, weird.
Thanks, product team.
So it's getting worked on.
But yeah, I think Spencer, Olympic silver, it would be enough. I think, you could go back and look. They did wrestle. It was a long time ago. Can you consider that maybe?
2019, 6 years ago.
It was senior level wrestling. We have the comparative Ono match where one was totally non-competitive and the other one was controversial, if not close. Was close and sort of controversial. Yeah, so I think Spencer is the rightful #1, and I think deep down if they were to wrestle, what would happen?
Well, what weight would they wrestle?
Yeah. Because if it's at 61, Vito's clearly ideal weight. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, because that's the argument to
Catch weight.
That's the argument to Ono coming down. I mean, in wrestling Spencer, he's wrestling Spencer at a weight that isn't his ideal weight, 59 whatever kilos.
Not according to Ono, it's not.
Well, I mean, all signs for Ono's career has shown that he's best at 61. When he wrestled 65, he lost. When he wrestled 59, he doesn't have the same point scoring.
He's wrestled one match at that weight class.
Yeah, so what?
And he's wrestled Spencer Lee.
Yeah, he's a world champion though at 61 kilograms, where he killed everyone.
What?
Not at 59.
The obvious conclusion I reach is that Spencer is better than Vito Arujau and Zaur Ogoyev.
But what wins has shown that in the last 2 years?
Not everything boils down to the wins. It's just what my eyes say.
Well, what about when he only scored what he only beat Zhao by 1 point?
He's undefeated against Zhao. Zhao is oddly...
Matchups matter, right?
Yes, they do. And I think the matchup with Vito is good for Spencer.
Okay.
I try when I'm just doing rankings, pound for pound, you have to do a little bit of guesswork, and I just think this guy's better. Eyeball test, right? Obviously, yes. But I try to also bring in data to these rankings and actual results, not just vibes. And it's Vito's wins over Abaskhadze and Ugoyev that gave him the pound for pound #1 spot. 2 wins better than any wins Spencer has in his international career in the past 2 years. And the fact that Vito has only lost to Ono, aka the same guy that also beat Spencer Lee in the past 2 years. Now, do I think if they were to wrestle at 59 kilos, would Spencer Lee be my pick? Probably. But when it comes to rankings, and you have to do some sort of data, and Vito reached the top of the podium at his ideal weight class, something Spencer Lee did not do. And you could argue 61 is a tougher weight class because it had guys like Abaskhadze and Ugoyev and Ono in it. Not enough grown men can make 57.
What's Ogoyev right now?
Goyev?
In reality, what do we really think?
I think he's an Olympic champion.
Where?
57.
Okay, so if you're going to talk about ideal weights, you can't talk about this is clearly not his ideal weight, but you're giving him the 57 kilogram Olympic champion win at his non-ideal weight.
I think he's also like a world medalist caliber guy at 61.
But I do agree that you're taking guys that are best at 57 and then saying when Vito beats them when they're at 61, therefore he's as good as they were at 57.
I said that with one guy.
Well, and then
Abaskazi is the
Abaskazi-
best at 61.
Yeah, I think, I lean towards Spencer without getting into the weeds of all the transitive wins and all that stuff, just because he did it at a much bigger, much tougher stage at the Olympics. And then when
Tougher is debatable. Because if you look at the actual bracket,
no, I think the Olympics are
no.
just a
Olympic-
bigger stage than a non-Olympic weight.
Yeah.
World
bigger
Championship.
stage, yes, but you can argue tougher.
More people are going towards that 57 than are going towards the 61 worlds. It's just going to attract more competition. You
can't.
All the back and forth and all that stuff to me just kind of fades to the background. And then I would say it matters that Spencer's at a weight class that clears out and he's still at 57, and that guys can't hold 57. So just looking at who's the most dominant at the weight class there are now, because I saw you got Kyle Dake below Zahid because of one tournament with Kyle Dake at 86. 86 is not his best weight class. If you're looking at all the accomplishments, Kyle Dake, if he just goes to 79 for World Team Trials, is he back above Zahid because he's probably going to win gold there? So I don't know. Just looking at more of a vibes-based, I just go, the guy that got Olympic silver and is right now looks to be the most dominant American at his weight class worldwide.
Vito is just as dominant at his ideal weight class. They both lost to a Japanese wrestler in the finals.
Noguchi's not at 57 anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But Ono is still at 61. So you got Vito not dominant.
Maybe he's not this year.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at go to 2023 where Vito blitzes through the World Championships, and at that point in time, there would be no argument who's better in pound for pound, right? In freestyle, it's Vito is over Spencer at that point. Since then, they have only lost to the same wrestler, and Spencer also lost to Ray Higuchi, who Vito didn't wrestle. And Vito maybe has arguably had a better win in Uguyev. Like, what's Spencer's best win in that time frame? Gilman.
Well, yeah, and what did
Right?
Thomas Gilman do to Vito Arujau literally every single time they wrestled?
Here's actually the
Massacred.
interesting part of it.
Massacred Vito every
Not
time.
massacred.
Massacre. Oh my gosh. 2022 Final X?
No.
Go look up those. Did you watch those matches?
No.
Why not? You should-
Here's the,
those were not.
The
close.
interesting part we're not saying is Vito's actually helped in this by not even attempting to make the Olympic team at 57, because I think most of us would agree, like, there's a good chance he doesn't make the team.
If he goes up to 65 or tries to suck down to 57, now you're taking losses that you're adding into the
Right.
whole
If he goes
debate
down
between
and
the
loses
P
in the
for P.
57 kilogram bracket, like, then okay, yeah, Spencer is, but he didn't even try, so he didn't
Yeah, he
come
wasn't
down.
wasn't in
But
the
I don't
Olympic
want to
streaks.
hurt a guy too
Yeah,
much.
he
He's clearly a tweener. 61 is clearly his best weight class. So I don't want to punish him for being a victim of six weights.
Yeah.
And he didn't even try to make the Olympics
Right.
this year. But I think there is a little bit of a you're giving him too much of a pass. Like, oh, he's not a functional 57. This guy made the Olympic trials finals in 2021. He made final X in 2022 at 57 kilograms. We're just pretending, we're just inventing this narrative that he is not good at this weight class where he has beaten so many elite guys.
That's almost more of an argument for him. The fact that he can go to his non-ideal weight class and beat these guys.
Okay, so but you're ignoring the commonality that they have at 57 kilograms, and that Spencer smashed him, and that he smashed,
6 years ago.
that he beat Gilman.
You're also ignoring, though, that Vito made the U23 world team and then goes to Worlds, and he can't wrestle to that level because of the weight cut, because of 57. So
But that doesn't hurt his
there
ranking
is-
that he DMP'd at U23 World.
But there's that. But that's the evidence too that 57 kilograms is in his ideal weight class, and it continues to be reinforced by the fact that he didn't even try to wrestle at the Olympic trials, because as he gets close to that weight, his body shuts down, and then once he wrestles 61, he's one of the best in the world. So it's
Body
like,
shuts down. I think this is like,
dude, that's what
crazy
that's
coke.
what he talks about. That's what he said. His injury that he was dealing with, it
with the
progressed.
injury. Yeah.
And he couldn't.
Well, okay, that's separate. The idea that he cannot, forget the injury, the idea that he cannot be a functional 57 is not true.
I don't think we see him wrestle 57 again.
Maybe not.
I think
I
he
don't
goes.
think so either.
I think he goes 65, and I think he has success there.
He is a large human being for.
He teched the current number 7 in the world at 65 kilograms. Abis Gadzi was top 10 at 65. Zumishbek Ulu from Kyrgyzstan is like 7th or 8th right now, and Vito teched him at 2023 Worlds. So like you can take that data and see that Vito has really dominant success against guys who are now wrestling 65 kilograms. So like you can make arguments both ways.
Well, I think pound for pound should take in a wider breadth of data, and it seems like you guys are just picking and choosing what should apply and should not apply to Vito, and also you're keeping a narrow time frame, but also ignoring that he hasn't wrestled in almost a year.
Well, if you want to go wide time frame, Spencer didn't wrestle in those years. Vito was in the streets too.
In 2019, he
in
did.
2021, when you're citing about him losing to Thomas Gilman, Spencer wasn't even there.
Right.
So what's the time frame?
Well, that's
Right? Maybe Spencer would have lost to Thomas then.
That's what I'm trying to understand. What is the time frame?
2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
I think, look, it's going through all the data and getting this into the nitty gritty. I think is awesome, and I think it's fun that we're all able to push back on all these other things. But also for me, I don't know, pound for pound, especially international, where guys don't wrestle all that much. There's no season. They hardly ever see anyone. It's far more like just take a 1,000-foot view and be like, okay, who do you feel most confident about right now? And at the weight that they're going, if that's how you're going to do it, not just like overall, regardless of weight class. And I feel like Spencer is in a little bit better place, but also Vito is accomplished enough where I don't begrudge him the number 1. And I think he's a very honorable and good pick for number 1. But too much of, well, this weight class at this year at that thing, to me, it just kind of loses sight of like, hey, this is international pound for pound. There's no perfect answer.
Yeah.
The answer probably is Kyle Dake in reality.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost to Zahid Valencia. Now he's behind all. I mean, he's made every team since 18. He's brought a medal back every single time.
Multiple-time world champion.
Multiple world champion, Olympic bronze twice.
Yeah, it just feels weird to keep him at number 1 if he just comes off a win. Mm-hmm. And like if that's the weight he's going to
If he goes down 79, he might bounce back up. But
yeah, Kyle is the only time he's ever missed is when he like couldn't make a weight because of Jordan Burroughs or then Jaden Cox.
He hasn't missed a team since 2017.
That's crazy.
And then
he hasn't missed the team yet. You know, I'm not counting him out. He might not make the team, but I wouldn't count him out.
Yeah.
What if Jax Force takes a match from Vito?
Yeah, then it's new discussion. Spencer rolls through Luke Liddell 2 matches. Yeah, it might be Spencer.
Yeah. I still want to see Spencer against more international wrestlers. Like we haven't seen even the Olympics. It's like he had 4 matches and
guess what?
More competitive.
He's not going to get great matches because guys don't stay at 57.
Yeah.
And guys don't go on like runs.
That's a pretty recent thing. Guys not staying. I mean, 57 historically has been a really deep, tough weight class.
Yeah.
I wonder too if
it could be a little cyclical. Everyone's just saying.
Yeah.
Everyone's just acting like 57 is just not a non-weight anymore. I just think it's coincidental timing and everything comes back around.
This year feels too like the exodus of guys from weights and retiring is magnified even more because we saw so many guys stay around in 21 and continue on for another quad, when maybe if it was normal and wasn't the COVID quad, that they just would have called it quits and would have retired. So I think it's magnified a little bit more this year, but it feels like maybe if Spencer and Vito both go on runs, win worlds, maybe that's the next FloWrestling Night in America headliner.
Now we're talking.
Who?
Spencer Vito, baby.
Oh yeah. Well, now they're training together.
They're training together?
Spencer said that on a TikTok.
No, we need to stop that.
I know.
Make them enemies. No friends allowed.
Let's see if I can find out who won those goes. Go back and score them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that was fun. Pound for pound.
Yeah. We all agree, though, John, more competition at the international elite level is going to be good for everybody.
We need it.
Mm-hmm.
Preach.
Okay. Let's move on to, this is kind of a fun little Instagram post we did yesterday. Which record will be broken first and which is least likely to be broken. Kozak, you want to pull this up
Yeah, I'm doing my
for us
best.
so we can see the.
Someone.
Between not having like the preview thing and using Space Computer, that's all backwards. It's a challenge. For
Yeah,
me.
Spade
This is
does
my
have
flu
annoying
game.
scrolls. He scrolls backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sign of intelligence.
Okay, here it is. I got it.
So, okay, I want to know which will be broken first and which will never be broken or least likely to be broken. 5-time Olympic gold medalist by Mijan Lopez. 4-time undefeated NCAA champ, Cale Sanderson. 3-time world and or Olympic champion by 20 years old. Amit did that. 106 career NCAA pins, Wade Chalice. 16 consecutive world and Olympic titles by Yoshida, and 25 straight Big Ten team titles by the Iowa Hawkeyes.
There's a funny tweet in response to this where, oh yeah, here it is. He had it ready. Someone thinks Penn State is going to break the 25 consecutive Big Ten titles. They're at 3. Let me bookmark this until 2048 and see. That is it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but there's no way.
So
25
what makes
years?
this a fascinating thing is that there's so many like random things where it's like the Big Ten used to have a total different composition of teams when Dan Gable was coaching. And so trying to predict the future, I'm not saying any of these things are going to happen, but what if at the NCAA level, the top 30 teams break off and form a super conference and like Penn State leaves and Iowa and like they're no longer in the Big Ten anymore. Now the Big Ten has
Iowa's got that record on lock.
6 or 7. Well, no, maybe now because of the way the teams fall out or whatever, there's one dominant team that's that much more dominant in wrestling than whatever the Big Ten looks like then.
I think it'd be fun to like just rank these from in the order of likelihood, because I think we will see. I think the one, I think I said it in the video, the most likely one is a 4-time undefeated NCAA champion, because we've had guys close in reality, like Yanni had 2 losses. We're gonna see it at some point. I don't know who. I'm not predicting a person. In the next 20 years, that's gonna happen. There's gonna be a 4-time undefeated champ.
I'm not arguing that, but I do think 3-time world and Olympic champion by 20 years old is more likely to hit first.
Maybe it's just
This is also worldwide.
you have to be very like. I mean, you just have to really thread the needle so perfectly, timing.
Some Japanese woman who we don't even know yet, who's 12
But
and
like
then in 8 years.
But also like when you're born has to align perfectly with an Olympic year as well. Like there's a year where you could start at 18 and you may not have a chance to win the Olympics by the time you're 12.
Technically, the graphic doesn't say and. It does say slash.
Okay.
So you can just have 3 worlds.
So you win
I don't know. That's also up for debate.
Yeah. I think CB's got a point about like the undefeated champ. I feel like that's not likely to happen in any year, but because it can happen a 4-year thing. Whereas the world and Olympic champ by 20, that's like tougher to hit, but maybe more likely when it could hit. I don't know if that makes
Find
sense.
me how many wrestlers have entered 16 consecutive World and Olympics. Just entered, participated.
And I do want to say she did this through 14 years because 2 times they held world championships the same years as Olympics, 2008 and 12. And she did both the Olympics in that year and the world championships in those 2 years.
But you can't.
She did not take 1 year off.
No.
This was 16 consecutive. She was able to attend world championships and Olympic games and went to 16
Yep.
straight. Didn't lose.
But I think that also speaks to how the rules change over time. That when these
Right.
records were set, you were allowed to go 2 different weight classes, one at the Worlds or one at the Olympics and one at
No. She went 55 kilos for both. They just held Worlds and Olympics that year.
With the same weight classes?
Yes.
Okay. And another instance that is never going to happen ever again.
Right.
Presumably, or maybe
Even 14.
if you make it 14.
No, even if it's 14 consecutive World, I just don't think we're going to see that.
Bruce won 13 medals in 15 years,
Yeah.
or 15 Worlds and Olympics.
So there's maybe 2 wrestlers in the last 50 years that wrestled in 16 straight. So then you also have to win it.
Yes.
So like that's crazy.
Now, obviously, she gets a bump from women's wrestling was not at the level it is now in 2004 and 8. Like,
Yeah, no, that's
Well,
definitely
same for the 106 career
Right.
pins.
Well, I think the biggest caveat comes with the 106 career pins as to how you're going to define it, because, like, yes, women's wrestling has changed and grown, and there'll be other evolutions in the sport. But Wade, that was before there were division weight classes. So Wade Chalice, who went to what was it, Clarion?
Clarion.
Yeah, that is a D2 team for everything but wrestling, because they are a small East Coast team where normally would be, a school would be D2. But his schedule, if you look at all the schools he's wrestling, are now all over the divisions. So he's not getting 106 career D1 pins, which is what you'd have to do now. So unless you start counting going to open tournaments and smashing D3 guys as a D1
Ben.
But how many D3 guys did Ben wrestle?
A lot. We got the plaque in here somewhere to prove it.
So I don't know if you...
the Central Missouri Invite Open or whatever.
Over 25 pins, but I don't know if somebody wanted to go do that.
That's outstanding. He won OW at the Central Missouri Open.
Stiff competition here.
Yeah.
Central Missouri State University.
I don't even know if they're showing it.
There it is.
But there's a lot of little schools on the East Coast that would be available opponents for Wade Childs. I haven't gone through the thing. It's still amazing. It's 106 matches in a career is still a lot now.
At least we know that 106 is the agreed upon number.
And there's no other instance for any other wrestler at any other division.
that.
No one? Okay.
It's just the one thing that wrestling can agree on.
Sorry, Jason. I'm sure he's listening. I know there was some SIUE guy that got like 109.
No, this is the agreed upon.
Yeah.
Well, it's even Wade's number is up for debate. Doesn't Ben dispute it
Yeah.
for some reason?
Just because he wants to have the record.
And Gene Mills disputes it, or he disputes that he has 107
I think Ben, yeah, that's interesting.
or something like that. I don't know, but I should have just said over 100 career pins and put Wade/Gene Mills/
Lehigh's Kelvin Griffin has 35 pins right now.
How many years?
2 years.
But I thought he was a big tech fall guy.
No. He's pinner. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's coming. He's coming for it.
Now,
What do you think about the NCAA giving the awards to guys that don't even make the lineup?
Yeah, when they send out the things all the
You
time.
should have to qualify for the tournament to get an NCAA season award.
I just think you shouldn't be. Wrestling is an individual sport, so your strength of competition is without knowing that.
so much.
Then
Yeah.
you don't have anything meaningful. You just have some stats. It's fun to look at, but it's not an award that is.
so non-D1 matches no longer go towards your RPI, but they still count on your official record, correct?
Yeah.
So pinning non-D1 guys
Counts.
still counts towards your stats.
But how many good D1 guys are going to go at it until they change?
Well, if they want to beat Wade Chalice,
The
they will. If they're
aspirational
reading-
ones will.
That's right. If they're reading this graphic,
Kelvin Griffin will.
did we just inspire a generation
Yeah.
to head to the
Yeah, one guy's like, I don't want
Bassett.
NCAA
the Carney?
championships.
Bo,
Well, Bassett, you could never get 107 pins, so don't even try, dude.
I'm telling you,
Trophy?
head to the Carney Eunice Open next year, and after.
If you don't go
Rack
to
up
the
them
Eunice
pins.
Hospitality Open in Kearney, Nebraska, then you aren't serious about your pin career.
Going to be in Kearney's great new sport facility, too.
Oh, getting
That's the one they promised you when you were.
No, they promised me a new room, which has happened, but not while I was there.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is least likely.
Oh, so I think the 16, man, there's so many. I feel like 16 and 25 straight, 16 consecutive World Olympic titles and 25 straight Big Tens are up there, but 5 Olympic golds.
Yeah, you need to get 6 to break it.
Well,
Yeah.
you can tie because you can't beat 4-time undefeated NCAA champion.
Right.
So if you get 5,
Starachi's got 5 championships. You
not
never know
undefeated.
but you never know what eligibility is going to change in the future. You start giving guys 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Sure, but
That could happen.
I'm thinking if you get 5 Olympic golds, Mihan is now no longer the sole holder of that, so you can.
Okay, well, the headline says which record will never be broken.
So, when Mihan won, I said, like, this is like our Cal Ripken never going to be broken record, the consecutive games record, like 5. We'll never see this again. I really kind of still believe that.
Right, because no Major League Baseball player is even doing a full season anymore, let alone 16 seasons.
Well, that's why I think 106 career pins is probably less likely to happen.
I think, the way things are currently set up, unless the Olympics start going every other year, which is theoretically possible, I still think 5. Like, can you count a D2 or D3 guy or NAIA
Nah, I'm
guy?
thinking just
Well, because there is no D1. He was wrestling non-D1 guys back then. So I think you got to count some guy in junior college right now racking up 30 pins.
so if he goes JUCO for 2 years and then NCAA for 4,
D3, then D2, and he works his way up and keeps transferring.
Sure, maybe.
Just the length of a human life and the number of years between Olympics makes
Like, I think there's
like biology.
There's maybe just
not that everyone's going to die before they get to 6 Olympics. I mean, you can't be competitive in 6
Right.
If you're dead.
Yeah, especially if you're dead.
I was just thinking, under the current system, there is a scenario that is 0.01% to happen, but like almost a meet situation where she's born 2 days earlier and can become Olympic champion at 18 and then kind of run the table because maybe it's a perfect 76 kilo woman who is, that sounded weird. Pause. Sorry.
That you
know
hope
what
to
I meant,
marry
though.
one day.
Perfect.
She's
You know what I
perfect
meant.
for you.
Perfect for JD.
Perfectly sized. Still doesn't sound much better. You know what I mean?
Just keep going.
And can run the table. And she's not like Yui Sasaki, we thought could maybe do this, but just lighter weights.
More competitive.
Yeah, they're more competitive and there's more variance in performance.
An even more perfect woman arises.
Right. And you just have a banana peel performance where you slip one time. But
Also, she sold out her weight for that day and totally tanked her.
correct.
And then
That's why you need the perfect 76 kilo woman.
Yeah. It's perfect.
But that can maybe run the table for
Gets
17
your sense
years.
of humor, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Who wins it when she's 18 and
Easy to talk
and do
to.
what Yoshida couldn't in 2016 and wins one more match.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just don't see anybody Division 1 getting over 100 pins anymore because I don't see that match count going back up. And I don't see people, a person, a 4-time undefeated NCAA champion, still getting 95% of their wins from.
What if there's a perfect 125-pound man?
Now we're talking.
This could be even harder. All right.
Okay.
Next topic.
Do you want to talk about wrestling's Ironman? A topic we
about Cal
also
Ripken?
You did bring up
talked
Cal.
about in the office. You brought up Cal Ripken Jr., not me.
The patron saint of the Piles household?
He really is. He would be. I said this in our meeting, which got very contentious because JD just.
I know where to hit CP where it hurts.
Yeah. If you start talking about Cal Ripken, it's like, short of talking bad about my parents, it's like the worst thing you can do. He is.
Parents, Cal Ripken, grandparents, nieces.
Oh, 100%.
uncles.
Cal Ripken is in the Piles family. He would be like on the family crest, I think. He is just that much of an icon. Look at this guy. Sure. What a beast. I love Cal Ripken. He is Iron Man. And then JD repeated a salacious story. It's totally untrue, unfounded.
Don't Google it.
nonsense. And an attempt to minimize his
I
accomplishments.
was just saying, his record is basically fraudulent because the Orioles
Here we go. Here we go.
definitely rigged one game after he broke the record. I'll give it to you, but before he completed it, definitely rigged it. Oh, the lights won't turn on, so we can't compete at this game, which just happens to be the day after Ripken got in a fight with Kevin Costner.
I can't believe you believe that he got in a fight with Kevin Costner.
And so,
Playing game.
Oh, no,
This is not true. It's a totally fake
Look
story.
into it.
But
Look into it.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is look into it. And here's what I'm saying: if they
JD's not gonna survive this show.
clearly, obviously rigged that game to allow him to complete the record, what game didn't they rig? I'll never know.
They're all in question
Did the
now.
MLB have the strike because Cal Ripken couldn't compete?
Yeah, they
I don't know.
love having work stoppages just to preserve this obscure record.
Did the MLB lose millions of dollars in this strike just so Cal Ripken could be the saint of the Piles household?
I gotta say,
I don't know, but I'm saying it's on the table. Just look into
Not
it.
on the table.
In the list of sports
Take it off the
conspiracies,
table.
it's like Michael Jordan gambling, so he went to minor league baseball or blah, blah, blah. This one would be up there as
This
far
is
as
way more insane.
Yeah, the draft was
also,
for the Knicks.
It's like he already broke the record.
Yeah, that's
A record that even at the time they're like, no one's ever gonna do.
Look,
this
it's like taking steroids, which Cal Ripken might have done as well.
That is even worse. He did not take steroids. Nothing about his life, nothing about his performance would suggest he did steroids. He probably, honestly, I wish he had. It would have helped him.
it would have extended his career, maybe.
I'm glad he didn't, but he's way too dignified, way too classy of a man.
I think
way
JD's
too much of a
point
pro.
is if they went to the extreme of shutting the power down,
They didn't do
after
that.
the streak, what did they do
Now that's all
during the
like Artur Tamazov got busted for steroids at one Olympics and another
He is
Olympics.
forever called a cheater. Nobody
They didn't take away the medals in between those two Olympics where he definitely cheated because there was no evidence.
Everyone got busted. Many of the Golden Boys, I mean, A-Rod, all these guys were implicated. Not rumor. proven. And Cal was never even a vapor of controversy
he was so
around.
incredibly mid.
All Paula Duca did was write a thank you note to the guy that was supplying everybody with steroids. But there's no proof that Paula Duca, great Met catcher,
Barry Bonds never tested positive.
never.
He just
Clean.
Okay.
Just grew a few hat sizes.
So that's Cal Ripken.
Baseball's Iron Man, which, if you don't know, wrestling's Iron Man. So this is a classy individual that just showed up for work day in, day out, no excuses, through the bumps, the bruises, made the walk every single time, and performed at a very high level. That's what wrestling's Iron Man is, a classy individual that you say, hey, this is the model. This is what you want to be.
So according to everybody but JD, a Cal Ripken-like character.
Look, I'm sorry, Cal Ripken's a scumbag. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you think, do you know how quickly that fight with Kevin Costner would be? Kevin Costner, what's he going to do?
Yeah, no, he's a phony actor.
He's going to ride up.
Look at this little guy.
See, Yellowstone, he's going to ride up on a horse with a 6-shooter.
No, I agree with CP 100%. Kyle Ripken would thrash that guy. He's
Kevin Costner?
right. Yeah. Oh, like I like the Great West, then I make some decent movies. Oh, I'm a ball player. I was in Bull Durham. No, he would get washed. He would
Still
get
got the
rinsed.
girl.
No, he did not. Happily married.
Okay.
All right, but long story short, who is wrestling's Iron Man?
No more mentions of Cal Ripken.
I think in some ways, I think Cale Sanderson could be considered that in NCAA folk style.
I think he retired too early, freestyle, though.
Yeah,
I think
Bruce Baumgartner?
Bruce Baumgartner. Yep. Current day, Kyle Snyder.
Absolutely, Kyle Snyder. I think it is probably modern, maybe not. I mean, I think we're going to look back and say Kyle Snyder for sure.
And, I mean, we were just complaining about, with Vito, him not competing internationally in between world championships. We complained about that a lot with Jordan Burroughs, Cal Dake, David Taylor. The guy who was also holding down a spot on the world team and Olympic team during this time, Kyle Snyder. Kyle Snyder, he goes to Pan-Ams. He goes overseas.
Yes.
He takes super matches with Jaden Cox, right? Like, he's never shied away from competition.
He just freaking loves to wrestle. Like he is just a pure wrestling soul. I think it's going to be so fun to look back. Like, how long does this guy go? Because he's just been consistent. When he said it when he was 19, I want to wrestle till I'm 40. It's like, okay, Kyle, we'll see how that take ages. And he's just the same guy.
Now, it obviously helps. He's the perfect 97-kilo man.
He is perfectly built.
So, like, it with people in the lighter weights, like when you have to cut a significant amount to make your weight class, that does make it a little bit tougher to compete more often. And those lighter guys are more prone to injuries as well. Like,
And I think in the same vein as Cal Ripken, he is someone you want your kids to be like. He is like the model.
Who's got Kyle Snyder on their family crest right now? Who's going to have this debate in 20, 30 years?
Yeah. Who's going to have to defend it? I'll defend Kyle Snyder's honor. Not that anyone would create a salacious story because he's in wrestling.
Who would dare? I'm glad that the comparison to Bruce, I think, is going to be great. And then I'm glad he should be continued to talk about it just because he took fifth, right? So he didn't medal for the first time, and it's almost like, all right, now we're moving on to what's next. And it's like, Kyle's not going anywhere. Who's going to? He's the biggest favorite to make the team
by
97, and he's still going to be able to answer back and learn and get better against the guys that maybe beat him before.
Well, that's kind of why I was going to say maybe he's not Cal Ripken because he's too good.
Cal Ripken is one of the greatest shortstops of all time.
Somehow worked in a back.
Oh, he gets blown up because he just showed up.
He's a World Series champion. He's an MVP. He won the home run derby. He's one of the most powerful shortstops ever.
Power hitting shortstop. He was like the first power hitting shortstop. Like he's the first guy to show that you could actually hit with power.
Did he maybe have a little help with that power?
No, he didn't because it waned. It went away when it should,
JD won't stop.
So I used to keep track of guys' records like pretty closely.
Yeah.
I haven't done it as much recently, but Kyle Snyder has, according to Wikipedia, over 200 international wins
International match.
already.
That guy wrestles.
Yeah, but
Insane.
one of the things that I think is interesting, we didn't mention, Jordan Burroughs is kind of an Ironman as well.
200 wins, doesn't
He's
he?
got like 240.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So
Can't forget about JB.
Yeah, and he was too good though.
yeah, that's true.
It's not.
He's just too good.
I don't think how good you are is. I mean, you have to be that good to get put in the starting lineup.
Yeah. To start for the
I know. We need a guy. We need a guy who's like 2 or 3 on the ladder for.
You want the
15
unsung
years.
Iron Men.
Yeah.
No, he's sung. Cal is sung.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Cal is sung.
Kyle is a 2-time Olympic. He's an Olympic champion and a Olympic silver medal.
Kyle Dake, because he wasn't on the team for the first 6 years or whatever.
I don't even understand.
He hasn't.
JD wants like a D2 guy that's not
Yeah, I don't
being
even
talked
understand.
about.
Hey, who would be in international, non-U.S.? Who's like a guy that's just like,
always
Cubans.
there.
yeah,
Gosh, yeah. Garzone.
Giandri Garzone, I thought was entered in Pan-Ams, but it turns out it's Giannis, his son. And it could have been Giandri. He was wrestling like last year.
yeah.
Who's the guy that has wins over Kale, Kyle, and Jaden?
Sharifov.
Yeah.
Sharifov.
I think he's finally done.
Yeah, he beat Snyder. Also,
Beat
I don't know
him,
if you
yeah.
I
mentioned.
said Kyle.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so it'll probably be when it's all said and done, it'll be Kyle Snyder. And how about like Kyle? There's been all these, theorize. Oh, Jaden's gonna come take the spot from him. That never happened. Well, now Aaron's is, but where's Aaron? So it's like everyone's always talking about who's gonna replace Kyle. It's like, well,
The best ability is availability.
it's right on, son. Wow,
Unless when it comes to Cal Ripken Jr.
That is your go-to phrase. That's of your coach speak cliches. You use the best ability is availability more than any other cliche for Cal Ripken not to be.
Well, yeah. Well, he cheated his way into that slogan.
Cruising for a bruiser, JD.
I swear. We better move on.
Kozak, tell us what we got in store at Pan-Ams
Pan-Ams?
this weekend.
We got them this weekend. We got brackets. Kind of a mixed bag for our men's freestyle lineup between our number ones and somewhere down the line there. Let me see if I can pull up the rosters here. You guys, Spay, you did
You're just scrolling through our Instagram.
Yeah, Spay, you did a Pan Am preview.
Yeah, these are the award-winning graphics that you're seeing that tells us our team. A couple weight classes have some interesting guys. RBY is wrestling for Mexico at 57, so Liam Cronin is going to have him. I think the bracket puts them in the second match, like in the quarters or the semis.
Yes, that's true.
Jax Forrest, I don't remember any big names in there.
No, Joey Silva
Joey Silva,
The GOAT?
yeah,
and Josh Kramer.
and freestyle Josh Kramer from Arizona State. 65 has Desterbats from Argentina, who Americans will remember have painful memories from the Tokyo Pan Am qualifiers, but he did lose later to Nick Lee at a tournament. They'll be, I think, opposite side of McKenna in the bracket. Ian Parker, Austin Gomez could be an electric bout. They were teammates at Iowa State for a little bit. Gomez has had more success recently internationally, but Ian Parker looked great, took third at the U.S. Open. That'll be an interesting one. Ladarian Lockett, obviously one of the young guys, won U20s at the U.S. Open. Interesting to see what he can do. Was there somebody at 74?
It's Garzone's son.
Um,
That's the son of Giandri Garzone.
They would meet in the semis, according to these brackets.
Nice. Evan Wick, Open champ. He's got a teeny tiny bracket. It'll be like a round robin. Zahid, I think Ethan Ramos is one of the American names that now wrestles for Puerto Rico, and he has been for a while. He's an All-American at UNC. 92, teeny tiny bracket for Trent. Justin Rademacher, another U20 champ. He'll have some real tough guys at 97. There's a Cuban that Kyle Snyder beat at every Pan Ams for like 5 years in a row. But he's tough. Silat, not sure how it's pronounced. And then Wyatt, I think, is going to rampage through heavyweight.
He is going to do unspeakable things. I think he has Costa Rica first.
And so we start with Greco, then women, then men's freestyle, correct?
Yeah, there's some tough matches Audrey Jimenez is the future of 50 kilos for the U.S., but she's got on her side of the bracket like an Olympic medalist and like another woman that I think is beat her from Ecuador. So don't get too down.
Pan-Am women are getting tough.
Yeah, they are.
Like Brazil has had a couple strong women.
Cuba like just started their program. Like it's not.
They ended their men's program. They started their women's program.
That's kind of sad.
And
but
then
yeah.
Welker has Kylie is potentially the future of 76. She's already got made a world team, and she is still very young, but she's got a very tough bracket. So temper your expectations. Kennedy Blades down at 68 is going to be awesome to watch. I think she'll do some damage there.
All right, let's get to some questions.
What about Tony Roby?
Oh, yes.
Skip that. That was point A.
Sorry. That was point A that we should get to. Not unknown, but Tony Roby, head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies, is the man. And that is only furthered by the fact that he is donating a literal kidney from his own body to Norm Latona,
Father of
Sam Latona.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. So yesterday, they went through the transplant. It sounds like I was DMing with Sam, and he said it went great. And I think they even put something out to that effect, like went great. They're recovering well. Couldn't have gone better. So amazing story. Amazing, act of charity, graciousness from Tony to give a literal kidney to Norm Latona, who it sounded like he was long time in need of this transplant, and evidently Tony was a match, and Tony said, let's go. So hope to catch up with Coach Roby and Sam at some point about this incredible story. A lot of people say like, oh, we're a family here, we're, whatever, but like, talk
about putting money where your mouth is.
Seriously.
And as JD said, it was from his own body. He didn't donate somebody else's kidney.
He's like cutting those horse kidneys lying around the vet program.
Oh, I wish I could get a horse kidney.
Oh man, the power. Yeah. So there's not, I guess, a lot to discuss about this topic, but just you want to make mention of it and give your well wishes to Sam and Coach or to Norm and Tony and.
Yeah, just hope everything goes well and it continues to be a feel-good story of the offseason.
Yeah. My mom got a kidney transplant from her brother 23 years ago. So, you talk about the magnitude of like, obviously it's life-saving, but to add, this is like saving someone's life, but also adding like decades and decades of life.
Yeah.
So it is incredible.
Yeah. What is the difficulty of living with one kidney?
It's normal. Yeah, it's pretty normal. You're supposed to just kind of avoid anything that could harm that kidney. So, wrestling, you don't really hear of like kidney damage in wrestling too often unless you're like cutting extreme weight, which I don't think Tony Roby's going to be doing.
No masters, major masters.
Yeah. So they say you're supposed to avoid like, physical contact of, extreme kind. So
no MMA for your mom?
No MMA for my mom, or probably Tony Roby.
It's a good thing your father has two kidneys.
Yeah.
Because
actually, my mom
might get him out.
I told you guys before. My mom has 3 kidneys now.
What?
So
Really?
They just keep it in. They don't take the other 2 out.
Really?
Yeah.
How many horse kidneys?
Do they contribute a little bit?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. They
Just taking up space in the body?
Yeah.
Too dangerous to take them out?
Yeah. I don't know that much about it, but
Okay.
I'm on team take the organs out, right? You got something out.
What's that? I have no appendix.
Yeah, no gall over here.
No use for it.
Y'all ever had kidney stones?
No.
Thankfully, me neither.
It's one of my life goals. I have a couple.
to get one or to not?
Do not get one. Yeah. That's why I maintain championship levels of hydration at all times.
You don't want gallstones either.
No interest in
Bad
that.
news.
Being dehydrated, is that how you get kidney stones?
In my mind, that's how. I don't know.
Isn't it if you eat like a lot of sodium, you're at a greater risk too? Maybe?
Yeah.
Just handfuls of sodium.
Probably just like unhealthy lifestyle.
there you go.
Look at this. Drinking too little water. Exercise too much or too little.
What? You guys are all right. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Eating too much salt or sugar.
See? These are all the things I do or do not do with. I think if you do this, you're going to have general health and avoid kidney stones.
Yeah.
But so it's not just a single-threaded choice. But yeah, too much fructose.
You don't want that fructose.
Yeah, get that fructose out. Get the fruit out of here.
Good organ talk.
Yeah, it was. Good organs, cowboy. Good job.
Good kidneys, Hokey.
Okay. Alrighty. You ready? You want some questions?
Yeah.
All right. Cornell Kevin, big long question about Alvarez's. How does Sammy Alvarez have another year, or will he get another year?
He is in full JD Raider mode. He is trying to end a career any way he can.
Look, I will say he's not sneaking past because this is well on the radar of everybody, and I don't know. And it sounds like he hasn't been approved yet.
Yes, he's in the process of. So he doesn't necessarily have an extra year, Cornell Kevin. He's going through that process, and maybe we'll learn the disappointing news that you would love for him to hear.
All right. So I was doing some digging here, and Wyatt Sheets, I don't know how he got another year, because all right, so he wrestled postseason.
This is all cleared because he's done.
He's done. We're not taking anything away from anybody.
Well, we might see
NCAA breaks into his house and steals.
Would we be taking a Big 12 title
No.
retroactively?
Hey, the Big 12 title gives and it takes away. So
It does.
all right. So Wyatt Sheets, he
It's like
wrestled
the DMV.
postseason 23, 22,
Okay.
21 doesn't count,
But he plays.
20,
Right. He wrestled at Big 12s.
and 19,
That's 4.
right? But then he also wrestled here, 2018.
Well, they just didn't count that year.
And he redshirted here, 2017.
So 18 medical red shirt done, easy.
Yeah, no problem.
Look at how many matches he
Classic
wrestled.
17 match.
The medical red shirt thing
happened-
used
it
to
was-
be like strict. I
It was in
remember.
December.
That's a lot of matches.
December 3rd. He wrestled a month.
Okay, so maybe this is precedent in that he wrestled how many matches here?
It's more like how far in it might,
Into the
Look at-
season.
yeah.
All right, so he wrestles 19
He wrestled 1 month.
matches.
His last match was the first week of.
Yeah, he was just very efficient. And
Shout out to the Bob Smith Open. What year was that? I might have been there. I probably competed at that same Bob Smith Open.
All right, I gotta look at Sammy Alvarez. So the year that he needs. Sorry.
Gotta log in again. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Why does it stop that?
So the year that he needs is this one, right? 24,
Yeah.
when he only wrestled 10 matches.
Yeah. There you go.
So
So
he
easy.
did wrestle January 27th.
Oh my gosh.
But-
But he didn't start.
Does he have
Also the fact that he
Would
was
this be his only medical?
No, he got a
Yeah.
medical here,
22.
but apparently Carson is getting another medical.
Yeah. Listen, we don't know. Let's move on.
Well, did Carson qualify for an Olympic somehow?
I don't know.
Move on.
Okay, move on.
12 years old.
All right. I got that one. Okay. You like this one, Christian.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I don't
Okay.
even understand it. Sorry.
This one? All right. Most underrated guys you look forward to watching next season. This is from Slink.
I assume college.
Yeah, I would say, I think, if you're listening to this show, this is not an under the radar name, but I think for the general NCAA fan, they're going to say, who is this Justin Rademacher guy? Because he didn't place last year. He made,
2 years ago.
You're right. And
He redshirted last year.
redshirted this year. And I think he's the real deal. I think he's a guy that's going to be in the top 4 mix next year. He's super good.
Yeah, good size for 197. You can watch him at the U20 US Open. Wrestled tough guys. Won the bracket. You can watch him at Pan-Ams too.
Yeah, he's going to do well. He's really good.
Maybe a freshman to watch. 174 Gage Wright. We've been talking about the Hokies. I don't think he's gonna be like a Rodemaker who's gonna place top half of the podium next year. But I think he could be a guy who you don't really know yet, who could do well for a freshman. Is Daniel Cardenas? Is he still under the radar for the casual wrestling fan? Because he's a guy who can
You love
win.
Daniel Cardenas.
He can win 157.
Yeah. I think we kind of, after he did what he did at Vegas, when he beat Meyer, all right. Well, no, because he couldn't beat Jacory. Jacory smashed him. So, yeah, maybe.
Corey was his kryptonite.
Yeah, who's who could be the Vince Robinson or whatever?
Yeah.
Hard
I
to
don't
say.
have any hidden gems off the dome, but I will say when we do the red shirt report, that's always where you comb through and look for guys.
Yeah. We love
Earn Your Gold in the chat says Jackson Arrington. Could be
For
a
sure.
guy.
Another guy coming off a red shirt.
Very
You
good
could have
one.
forgotten about him.
I mean, he beat Caleb Henson. So,
Yeah.
And was didn't he wrestle at Who's Number One? Definitely did Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic. But I mean, similar with
Yeah.
Gage, right?
Yeah. He was a very on the scene kind of guy, unlike
It was like a top 40, 30 big boarder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's this guy out of Japan. Ono. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he has yet to even qualify for the NCAAs.
Yeah. Okay. Good one.
Next question. What does Brooks look like versus the international field at 97?
Well, we'll hopefully find out in a year. I think he's really good. I think he's a title contender. But the thing is, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. You have to give more respect to Sadulayev and Tazadinov until proven otherwise. But I think he is in that Snyder sort of realm, and maybe is he an upgrade over Snyder? I don't know. I'm not willing to say it until I see him up there.
Got to protect your Cal Ripken.
I know. But interestingly, both these guys are from Maryland, just like Cal. So it's
Cradle of Olympic champions.
It is, and baseball greatness. I would say he'd be very good. No size concerns. I think he's gonna move really well. I think he's someone by 28 we'll be saying is a Olympic champion contender. How long can Tazudinov be at 97 too? I saw that someone posted like a picture of Shamil, the coach, Sadulayev, and Tazudinov's coach.
He's so much bigger than Sadie Case.
His shoulders are so broad, and
He's
he's
got a wingspan.
tall.
Yeah, everything about him is big.
It'd be fun to see him at heavyweight.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading the chat. There's a couple guys we might be underrated, surprised by. Merrill, Aiden Valencia.
Again, I feel like those guys are super under the radar.
Max Brignola was another one.
Brignola's a great one.
Brignola is a great one.
Super under the radar.
Let's go.
Yep.
I feel like even like up until last week, Luke Stanich was still under the radar for people.
Yeah.
You beat Bo Bassett, though.
Now you're
Can't be more on the radar.
Yeah. Under the radar still.
Okay. All right, next question. Is Caliendo a contender at trials?
I don't know because I can't recall him wrestling freestyle recently. So you can try to take his folk style skills and say this will happen but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how's parterre, how's his, there's just a lot of questions. If you take his neutral performance against Mitchell Messenbrink in folk style, you would say, all right, he's going to be in matches. So he's going to do a good job. I don't think he'd enter if he didn't feel competent. But you look at someone like Peyton Hall, who is really, really strong. Like, there's just a major learning curve for Peyton. I talked to Peyton after the open. He's like, I do not know freestyle. And
Yeah.
there's a learning curve there.
Caliendo is definitely a guy that you want to set your alerts for. That's a guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's fun to watch at all of his folk style matches, and you want to learn how he's doing.
100%.
This is interesting. I went on USA Wrestling's results page and just kind of looking back through Caliendo's last time he wrestled folk style or freestyle. He wrestled at the U.S. Open U20 in 2022.
Okay.
He beat Levi Haynes there.
He beat Levi Haynes.
Boom. I remember that.
For third place. He lost to somebody named Zeb Nida, spelled with a G.
Gonna need an explanation.
Nida. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
He is in the same bracket as David Carr. So probably not the
Quincy
pick
Monday.
to win.
Yeah.
Now, the real question is, how do we feel about him entering 74 kilos, aka, what is that, 163?
3.5.
63 and a half. And does that deter or make you think more likely that he goes 57 next year?
Not more likely, because he's basically wrestling at the 165.
But
weight.
less?
I mean, a pound and a half.
he's making his way down.
He's doing the slow descent.
Making his way.
No, I don't. I mean, I did a video about this, but I think there's risk involved with him dropping down a weight and having Kennedy drop a weight to get Gabe Arnold in. I don't know. All I see is a guy that's super productive at 165. He's only lost to national champions the last 2 years. His bonus rate is increasing. And you guys want him to cut 8 pounds for what? I mean, he's ranked second right now. That's basically his floor at 165. He could win 157, but there's a lot of guys I think that could beat him as well.
Bigger risk, but maybe bigger reward.
Maybe.
And only that camp knows what he walks around at, what he can actually do. We'll never hear that, which is fine. That's probably smart. But if you can do it, like, some would say it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Like, I attempted this. Like, but you also then have to acknowledge, I'm not going to beat Mitchell Messenbrink.
Yeah. Well,
But
you may not make that acknowledgement.
no, because he was close
Yeah.
in the finals and got closer as the year went on. You know, he was teched by Mitchell at one point, and then it was a one takedown match in the NCAA finals. Now, there's also going to be the pressure of, I want my good friend Gabe Arnold to be in the lineup, or insert X name in there. And as a teammate, as a 20-something-year-old, you should not probably take that into consideration when you're thinking about your own goals, but, like, you can't not feel a little bit of that when that's one of your good friends.
But even if you're Kennedy, like, I'm leaving the weight where I got on the podium.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth, I'm ranked second.
I'm not saying it's a smart move.
Yeah. I think there's more people are like almost being like basketball coaches, like, oh, we'll just move him to the power forward and then they can fit. It's like, no, this is different. It's not like that. And there's like, yeah, just have him cut weight. Yeah, easy to say, but what does that, how does that materialize for Michael Caliendo, who at no point has wrestled 157?
Do you risk trying to shrink your body down starting now and just going, let's see how this goes? Or do you say, it's not worth the risk, you've got your weight, you're good there, let's stick to it?
Here's one thing and why I don't think he's probably going to do it. Because if he was going to go down, why wouldn't he have gone down last year before remember, they didn't have Ja'Cory till like September. Okay, the plan could have been he goes down, you could have had Kennedy at 65, you could have had Gabe at 74, right, which is his ideal weight, I think we probably leave. And then you could have used Angelo if you wanted to. If it was on the table, then it would have been on the table last year too, right? Because they're not in all that different of a scenario.
Sure.
This year versus last year. So that's why I don't think it is likely going to happen.
Yeah.
There's smoke.
There's smoke. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be speculated about. And I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. I'm saying I don't think people are considering the risk enough.
Mm-hmm. It's like if Vito would go down to 57. He's just not the same guy.
I don't know. I mean, Michael Caliendo hasn't made Final X or the Olympic Trials finals at that weight.
All righty. Moving on.
Yeah, this pass that Vito gets, like, he's not the same. Well, all right, yeah, he only made Final X and the Olympic Trials finals and beat Dayton Fix. And just hard to, just can't get it done. He just can't do it at 57, guys.
Okay.
If only they wrestled, then we would know.
Within the last 6 years.
Yes, I'll set that time frame. It was less than 6 years, technically.
5.5, yeah.
Five.
As long as they did it within.
Yeah, as long as it's within 6. Outside of 6, what does it even mean?
Hey, speaking of smoke, I don't know if you guys care or not. We got white smoke coming out of the Vatican. New Pope.
Oh, exclusive.
Who is it?
We don't know yet, but they
Father
just changed the
Intantola?
smoke.
I saw that too. The Soprano meme accounts are great. They figure out a way to tie in every current
really
event to
do.
Sopranos.
They really do. We got a new pope, but we don't know who it is yet. We just know that decision's been made.
That's right.
Okay.
New Pope.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Quasimodo predicted all of this. He knows who the Pope is.
Stradamus.
You got the hat. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Connor for real asks, Braxton Amos, Wisconsin in general. What's going on up there?
Great state. Braxton, we're certainly rooting for. Like Braxton, the Amos family are awesome. I would expect him to be at heavyweight. Hopefully, he definitely needed the year off to get healthy. And so just hoping for that.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I really saw him compete at his maximum potential, I think, was at 97 kilos when he won freestyle gold and Greco bronze in the same week. And that's higher than 197. That's 212 or whatever. And he's been down at 197 since then and then been injured. So I think heavyweight could be get him back on the radar guy.
Yeah.
Now the guy just couldn't make the cut.
Yeah. Like
Different guy.
Different guy. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I didn't know if you want to talk more about Wisconsin, but
Not generally.
okay. Avery Lynch, another roundtable question. This question is a roundtable. You get to pick one thing for Chef Sion to make for you every day. What would it be? I'll go first. Gator ribs or gator nuggets?
So Avery is clearly never. So you want to pick something that he actually makes.
Yeah,
like
he's not Cajun. He's Jamaican.
Yeah. And also gator ribs. So Avery always poses interesting questions, but then he draws some interesting conclusions. Like, this is not a thing that he makes. What would I like? He makes a lot of good stuff. His jerk chicken.
That's his signature dish.
I like the curry goat.
Yeah,
would be
his
my
jerk
choice.
chicken, but he does like the curry goat. I'm not a big spice guy. I can do a little bit of spice, but Sion hikes it up. So I'm just not having Sion cook for me every day. I can't do that spice level for.
We'll get kidney stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
Sion's
it's donuts.
Sion's ideal level of spice is he doesn't react to it as in like, oh, this is really good, but it makes him sweat profusely, as if he's being like baked under a hot
But
lamp.
he's not a fake tough guy with the spice. He will.
Oh no, it would
just
knock
eat
me
it.
out.
And he does not need water or anything.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that like this is a spice level that will kill me, would put me 6 feet under.
Yeah.
But Sion is just chowing down, making him sweat profusely, but he doesn't react.
No.
So that's a lot of spice.
His curry goat. He always makes fun of it. He's like he tames it down for white people. That's what he says. Like when he makes it.
Which I'm very appreciative of.
I appreciate it because I can't handle like crazy spice.
Me neither.
Anyway, so that's what I would have him. His annual cookout's coming up.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I would have?
Couple weeks, right?
Sion make for me?
Crawfish.
His donuts from Shipley's Donuts in Dripping Springs.
I mentioned his donuts.
Everybody should frequent it.
Hey, everyone should give the Shipley's Donuts a 5-star review in Dripping Springs, Texas.
Yes.
Give it a 5-star review. Say it's great service and awesome. That would help Sion out a lot. That would be hilarious if
Sion's got himself a donut shop.
I'm dead
This is not a
serious.
joke.
He's for sure doesn't listen to the show. No one text him. If you guys just flooded the Dripping Springs, Texas, Shipley Donuts, 5-star reviews, that would be awesome. I'm gonna do it.
This is
Just
us.
don't have Caleb do it.
Caleb, yeah. If Caleb has a good experience, he's fair. He's fair.
But this is a good deed that we're doing for Sion, and we can do it under the radar.
Yeah, we do it under the radar as a birthday present. His birthday's coming up, so leave a 5-star for the Dripping Springs Shipley Donuts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dripping Springs, Texas. But
Dripping Springs, Texas. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Best and worst thing about Tyler being out of the office.
Well, the worst thing is that he's not here to do the show and to be among us.
That I can't prod him about Michigan football being a bunch of cheaters, just like Cal Ripken.
I know that is tough. Wait. Hold on. I was already. That's ridiculous. This is the worst
Play the
show
music.
ever.
Yeah.
Cal Ripken's a saint.
For me, it's no friend when I go to make a latte.
Yeah.
He's usually my latte buddy. Although many of you guys frequently join.
Yeah, I'll join.
I like to see what kind of weird thing you draw with the phone because you get your imagination goes crazy with
I'm an artist.
Oh, they're always very, very PG-13 drawings. Well, I don't miss the. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to argue, and he's an arguer. He's like Caleb, my son, a little bit, and always challenging me, even if I'm wrong. It's like, all right, dude.
What he loves to argue about is when he'll be like, oh, this is the show that I really like, and it's like that. And then you'll be like, yeah, I didn't care for it. And he'll be like, nope, wrong. You have to go rewatch it.
This is
You have
your
to watch it the
personality.
way I do. Yeah. You know what? One good thing just this week is our good friend and colleague Andy Hamilton is in town from Iowa. And we have a full house of like 8 desks, 4 facing each other. And when we're all here in the office, all the Austin boys, every spot's taken. And now Andy has a spot right here. Doesn't have to sit facing the other way or at a different desk. So thanks for that, Tyler.
It worked great.
And Andy thanks you as well.
Okay. Next question. Comments on Askren having an RTC signing Wick. Is it going to get bigger?
I don't know. Let's table this question because Ben's going to come on at some point and talk about this. So we'll talk about it then.
That is something he's talked about, though, in the past, right? That he
Yes.
wanted to do. He's wanted to have senior level guys. So
Is the RTC called Askren Haven?
Askren Haven.
Because that's what it says there.
I think
Sorry.
it's
Oh,
I
Hammond.
think it's AWA RTC. A lot of letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is news to me, so that's cool.
All right, JD, this one's for you. Can we get a Cribs style episode of JD's shoe game and hat collection? From what we see on FRL, it should be quick.
Oh, is that a dig there in the second sentence?
Yeah.
Maybe I can go live on the FloWrestling Instagram, just tour my
You
apartment.
have a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of shoes, but very different shoes. Your shoes on the...
You don't need much, you know.
No.
I actually do have a decent amount of shoes. I just hardly ever wear them because you need a white pair, you know, a black pair, and a brown pair. Pretty much set.
All the pairs you need.
Okay. Donk Lesnar asks, is Rin Sakamoto the favorite for representing Japan at Worlds this year at 57 kilograms? Can Kozak shed some light on the Japanese trial process? Any way to watch Meiji Cup All Japan Championships?
Just you take this question.
Okay, I'll take this one. Rin, he won the Emperor's Cup in December, so that kind of puts him number one in line to be the rep. But if he wins the Meiji Cup, which I think is at the end of this month, I should have looked it up, then he would be the rep. If he doesn't win, then there's like a playoff, which, as we've kind of said, 57 turned over a little bit. Rei Higuchi's not there. I feel like there could be someone better in Japan, but I don't know. We'll see.
I like how the Japanese system is starting to mirror ours, or ours is starting to mirror Japanese almost, in that if there's no returning medalist that accepts a bid, you win the U.S. Open, you're in Final X, and then if you win the Team Trials Challenge Tournament, you're the other guy in Final X, and it's the same thing. You win the Emperor's Cup, you're basically in the finals. If you win the Meiji Cup, you're also in the finals for that wrestle-off. The only difference is Japan lets their guys wrestle in both qualifying tournaments, and they're like 6 months or 5 months apart rather than just one.
Sometimes you can find YouTube streams of it. Sometimes you just have to watch the replay, though, when it comes to how to watch.
Yeah. As Not a Wrestler pointed out, he is going to be the U20 rep for Worlds. So
Sweet.
So, yep.
Cool.
Not really any other
All right,
questions that are jumping out to me.
We can call it.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be back next Monday.
Yes, normal
Let's
time.
go. Monday. Oh, I want to say this. Next Thursday, Greg Warren, our dear friend and the legendary comedian, is going to be joining the show. He has a new special. Can't wait to have him on. Can't wait to listen to his special as well. And so that's a nice little treat coming next Thursday. We're going to get him to weigh in on this Jay Leno Conan wobble. See where he
Continues the saga.
all that. But no. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to be back next Monday. Fun week. Next week, World Team Trials. We'll dive even deeper. Hopefully the entries are finalized at that point, and we can have Kozak try to seed it and all that fun stuff. So it'll be a good one. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next week. Goodbye.